right? All right. Greetings, or should I say Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Greetings, everyone. This is Mikael Eric Harris, better known as the Juice, also known as the Alkaline Water Guy. How is everyone doing on this beautiful Sabbath day? This is our first Sabbath in this so-called month of October that we call by the Gregorian calendar. This is our first Sabbath at this time. And today is October 4th, 2025. And this is Assembly of the Righteous. The Assembly of the Righteous, meaning we're coming together on the Sabbath to go through the Creator's Word, go through the Almighty's Word, and through our history. So right now, just to share with you what we're going to do, we're going to go through, we're in 1 Samuel 29. 1 Samuel chapter 20. Wait, no, I'm sorry. We're in 1 Samuel 30. We're in 1 Samuel chapter 30 today. We're starting here. And today's information or information, what we're reading today, and what we're calling is the death of Saul. But before that, we go through the commandments, and we also read the commandments. We do the prayer. We go through the commandments, and there we go. We go through the commandments, and we also share. Um, we also share the why we have prophets. We always go through this because it is majority of right. Once we get done with the commandments, it goes into why the fact we have prophets today, why we have prophets, and to have an understanding of prophets and what and their job and what they do. So first we're gonna go through with the prayer, then we're gonna go through the commandments. Then after that, we go through the prophets, and then we get into the story today. Today's story is the death of Saul, which was the first king of Israel, but he wasn't one that the Creator established as the king. So first we go through our prayer, which is, Blessed be thou, Father of the universe, that bring forth all living creatures forth from the earth. Blessed be thou, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be the Father of Israel. Blessed be the Father of 12 tribes of Israel. Thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep giving us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, life, health, and strength, food, shelter, and clothing. Let us be happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in all that we do. We ask you to keep leading and guiding us so that we can help leading and guiding others in your knowledge, your word, your ruach, and your way. We ask you to allow us to retain the knowledge that you've given us and let us have so we can keep it within us to teach to our children and their children's children to keep your word forever and ever. We thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep your arm protection around us at all times. We also ask you, Father, to forgive us of the sins that we, our ancestors, and our forefathers has made against you, your word, and your ruach, which is your spirit. We ask you to help us in every way. Forgive us of those things. We've transgressed against you, and you've also transgressed against us. We ask you to forgive us, and you've done it because of our transgressing against you and your word. So we ask you to help us in every way, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, or spiritual. And in all these things we pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you, Father. All right. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get into the commandments, which is in Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 through 17. And then from there, we're going to start from 18, at this point, 18 through 21, I believe is. 18 through 21. Then we're going to go to Deuteronomy 18 and break down the other part of 18 through 21, which is concerning the prophets. But right now, we're going to start off in the commandments itself, which is Exodus chapter 20, starting at verse 1. These are the 10 commandments. The first, it starts off at, and Yah, which it says God, and Yah spake all these words, saying, I am Yah thy father, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. First commandment, thou shalt have no other deities, which is gods, before me. Verse 4, then thou shalt not make unto thee, which is the second commandment, thou shalt not thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yah thy father, am a jealous father, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third, which is Greek, and fourth, which is Roman, generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Third commandment, thou shalt not take the name which is the law of Yah thy father in vain, for Yah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name, which is his law, in vain. The fourth commandment, remember the Sabbath day to keep it hallowed, which is holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yah thy father. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Fifth commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yah thy father giveth thee. Seventh commandment, no, that's the sixth commandment. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not, it said thou shalt not kill, but when you take life without a cause, it's murdering. And that's because you kill for a purpose, but murdering is when you kill without a cause. Excuse me. Seventh commandment, thou shalt not commit adultery. If any woman that's married or has a man, and you lay with another man other than the one that you have that comes into your household, which you know what I'm talking about. If you lay down with another man, that is adultery. And any man that has a wife or women, a wife or wives, which are women, and he go out and lay with another man's woman, which is his wife, that is adultery, whether people know that or not. Just so it be known, it's lawful for a man to have more than one woman. It's lawful. But it's not lawful for a man to be laying down with other men, women. And it's not lawful for men to be laying down with women, making them whores. You know, if you plan to be with a woman, these are the ones you should deal with, be with, and work together with. And that's on both occasions, men and women. Eighth commandment, thou shalt not steal, which is taken from someone else. Ninth commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. As I always say, lawyers, attorneys, and prosecutors does this all the time, which is bearing false witness by not seeing and being at the incident, knowing what's going on, but you're telling the story like he was. So this is false witness, and this is what this system is predicated on. 10th and last commandment that the Creator spoke to the children of Israel himself at the mount. Thou shalt not covet, which is want thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet, which is want thy neighbor's wife. Excuse me. nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So if someone owns something and you want something of someone else, that's covetousness. That's covetousness. And it's abomination and sinful. Wanting other people's stuff. And the people's fear. This is when the point of prophets has come about and how the people ask for to talk to or ask to talk to the creator through his prophet, which started off with Moses. 18. And all the people saw the thunderings and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off, as we all would do. If thunder and lightning is going over our head, just like it is when we're in the house, but we in the open field, we're going to run away. Why? Because it's scary. And even though that's the creator talking, we used to say that back in the day when we was coming up and we heard the thunder and lightning going on, and we would say, our ancestors or our parents would say, they cut the lights off and everything and sit down and say, the creator's talking. Yah is talking. God is talking. So from there, the people went and stood, the people saw it and removed them and removed and stood afar off. Verse 19 is your key. And they said, the people said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And a lot of people don't realize, right here, in that point right there, when Moses was speaking, is no different than any other prophet speaking in the name of Yah, in the name of the Creator, in the name of what the people call God. Because when the Creator speaks through his prophet, the people are to listen and adhere and go from there. But this is how the people ask. What people? The children of Israel. Verse 20. They again 19. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for Yah is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye, which is you, sin not. Excuse me. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near into the thick darkness where Yah was. Then from here, we'll conclude from there to Deuteronomy chapter 18, starting at verse 15. In Deuteronomy 18, it speaks and states a promised prophet, which is a promised prophet in his time. I mean, when they show up, when the Creator brings a prophet in his time. 8:15. Yah said, Yah thy father will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, of the children of Israel, like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken. 16. According to all that thou desire of Yah thy father in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yah my father, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. 17. And Yah said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. See that? And the Creator put your words in your mouth. That's when you become a prophet and start to speak on the name of Yah. 19. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, is the key, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. Of whoever it is, I'm required of you if you don't hearken to my words, which is the Creator is saying. 20. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, like Jesus, Yeshua, Prophet Muhammad, Buddha, or anybody else that people are giving praise to, which I have not commanded him to speak, or that prophet shall speak in the name of other deities, even that prophet shall die. And if thou say in thine heart, if you say in your heart, how shall we know the word which Yah have not spoken? When a prophet speaketh, continue to speak in the name of Yah, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, excuse me, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yah has not spoken, but the prophet has spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of that prophet, which is of him. My wife made some lemonade last night. Not too sweet, but very lemony. So now, what we're going to do, we're going into 1 Samuel chapter 30. 1 Samuel chapter 30, and we're going to go throughout the rest of Samuel today. We're going to go throughout the rest of Samuel today. And this is the last of 1 Samuel. Then next week we'll be starting on 2 Samuel. The second book of Samuel. We'll be going into that next week. Excuse me, y'all. So, what I like to do is give a little interlude before we go into the scriptures of what happened before we go into it. And back here in chapter 28 and 29, over here we see that Samuel, he consulted a witch. He consulted a witch, which he had supposed to have gotten out the land and have killed off witches and warlocks. But he consulted a witch, and what ended up happening, the witch saw in a vision, she saw Samuel. So when Saul asked the witch to conjure him up, Samuel, because the creator stopped talking to him. He wouldn't answer him through prophets, or what it was, prophet, or by dreams. He wouldn't answer Saul. So now Saul went to go and find a witch so he can try to talk to Samuel so he can see what he can do, because I don't know why Babylonians come to mind. The what's their names? The Philistines. The Philistines has now invaded Israel, and now Saul is distressed and he's scared because he don't know what to do because there's so many of them. So he went to go visit a witch and called himself pulling up Samuel. She called herself pulling up Samuel, but they perceived that it was Samuel. But like I always say, all spirits and everything is of Yah. In Exodus chapter 3, verse 14 and 15, 14 it says, I am that I am. The creator is everything and all things, and his presence is in everything and of all things. But people are giving credit to other things outside of the creator. They're giving credit to all other things outside of the creator. And by doing this is where we go into idolatry. So we're supposed to give all praises for all things that we have, because everything is for our learning. Mike, what's wrong with you? You want to go outside and sit on the front porch? Okay, be quiet over there, okay? You hear me? Go out there on the front porch or go to bed. Sorry about that, y'all. So, as I was just saying, it was up, made me lose my train of thought right there. So, yet and still, He called on, as I was sharing, was all things is of the Creator. I am that I am. When Creator said that, when he told Moses that, he is everything of all things to show you whatever it is still him, no matter what it is. Everything that's happening today is still of the Creator. Christianity is of the Creator, but it's not the Creator because the Creator is His Word. But He said that He is the good, He's a great God, and He's a terrible God. So this is what people have to realize. If you ain't following His law, you fall into the curse. When you fall into His law, you're under the blessing. This is what people need to know and understand. So as they pulled up this spirit that they thought was Samuel, which is really the spirit of Yah still, because all spirits is of Yah, he got what he asked for. And as it speaks right here in verse 17 through 19 of 28. I'm just going to give you this, and then that way we can go ahead and get ready to start moving through verse 30. But I started 16. I started 16. Then said Samuel, this was the spirit. Well, I guess I'll do 15. 15 on down to 15 to 19. I'll start at 15. Saul is greatly distressed right here. 50. And Samuel said to Saul, now this is the spirit. I will go up a little further, but I'm not going to go that further up. Y'all can read it for yourself. It says, and Samuel said to Saul, why hast thou disquieted me to bring me up? Which is still the creative spirit. And Saul answered, I am sore distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and Yah is departed from me, and answereth me no more, neither by prophet nor by dreams. Therefore I have called thee that they mayest make known unto me what I shall do. Then 16. Then said Samuel, wherefore then doest thou ask of me, seeing Yah is departed from thee, or which is from you, and is become thine enemy. He created and became your enemy. 17. And Yah hath done to him, as he spake by me. For Yah has rent the kingdom out of thine hand, and given it unto thy neighbor, even to David. Told him right to his face right then, the kingdom is given to David. 18. Cause and effect. There's always a cause and there's always an effect. Because thou obeyedest not the voice of Yah, nor executed his fierce wrath upon Amalek. Therefore have Yah done this thing unto thee this day. 19. Moreover, Yah will also deliver Israel with thee into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow shalt thou and thy sons be with me. Yah also shall deliver the host of Israel into the hand of the Philistines. And there you go. So that's the reason why he pulled them up, and the day is called the death of Saul. Right here, we're in chapter 30 of 1 Samuel, and we go with the first verse. Chapter 30 of 1 Samuel. The Amalekites take Ziklag. The Amalekites take Ziklag. Wait a minute. Okay, if they taking Ziklag, what he just said over here in 28, because thou observest not the voice of Yah, nor executest his fierce wrath upon the Amalekites. Look at that. Upon Amalek, Amalekites. Same people he was supposed to kill, they're invading them now. The same one that he was supposed to kill, the Amalekites. Now the Amalekites take Ziklag. Here we go. chapter 20. Well, I don't know if this, let me just read the story. I'm just looking at my heading. The Amalekites take Ziklag, Ziklag, Ziklag. And it came to pass when David and his men were come, Ziklag, Ziklag, on the third day, that the Amalekites had invaded the south of Ziklag, that's the best way I'm saying it, and smitten Ziklag and burned it with fire, and had taken the women captive that were therein. They slew not any, either great or small. They didn't kill nobody, either great or small, but carried them away and went on their way. He didn't kill him. They didn't kill anyone. So I see something in this. They had taken the woman, they had taken the women captive that were therein, because this was where David people was at. This was um that king, what was his name? Uh, I'm saying Akish or Akish. This is the city that he gave to David. And it came to pass when David and his men were come to Ziklag on the third day, which is the third day. I guess the third day after that, I don't know what happened. But we're gonna make sure we get that. On the third day, that the Amalekites had invaded the south, and Ziklag had smitten Ziklag and burned it with fire, meaning the city itself. And had taken the women, verse 2, and had taken the women captive that were therein. They slew not any, either great or small, but carried them away and went on their way. Verse 3. So David and his men came to the city, and behold, it was burnt with fire, and their wives and their sons and their daughters were taken captives. Verse 4. Then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to eat. They was crying hard. And that's how I cried. I cried like that, as I was sharing the story last week, when I had, just before I made that promise. If you bring me to the truth, I'll put the truth in songs and writing and give it to the world. It's up to the world to accept it or reject it. Verse 5. And David's two wives were taken captives. What's their name? And say, aha, no, Naomi, not Naomi, no, Noam, Noam. I know, I guess that's what it is. I'm not good with these words, as you can see. Had taken cap or known the Jezreelites and Abigail, the wife of Nabal, the Carmelite. 6. And David was, and you know something? You got to understand, they were saying this from the people, from the place they was from. You know what? A lot of people don't realize that. And as I was sharing, where you're from, where you're born, that has a lot to do with your, thank you, Father. It has a lot to do with your birthright. This gives you information. See how I just picked that up? This gives you information on your birthright. Me, I'm a Detroiter. I'm a Detroiter. I was born and raised here in Detroit. This is where my inheritance lies at. Thank you, Father. That just hit me. I'm just up here reading, and it's always telling them who they are and where they were from. Carmel was a land. Jezreelites, that was a land. This is where they were from. So this is where your inheritance is from. Detroit is where my inheritance is at. It's stuff that I'll be trying to share with y'all that y'all may not understand and know. But the Bible gives you your information. You just have to know it, and the more you come to understand here, it's going to bring you back in time. But Thank you, Father, for that. And David two wives were captive. Let me make sure I line these. The key is where they were from. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him because the soul of all the people was grieved. You see that? See, it's ready to turn on her. The people spake of stoning him. See, he's ready to go against him because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in Yah. You see that? That's what you're supposed to do. See that right there? David encouraged himself in Yah. David defeats the Amalekites. And David said to, let's see, Abathar, I guess that's it, Abathar, the priest, uh, Milishi's son. I think this was the priestess. This was the son that got away of the priest through Eli. No, the son that got away from what's the name of that Edomite? What's his name? Doeg. Doeg. He's the only one that got away. Doeg killed all the other ones off. The Caucasian. David encouraged himself in Yah. David defeats the Amalekites. Okay, verse 7. And David said to Abathar, the priest, Ahimelech, son, I pray thee, bring me hither the ephod, and Abathar. And Abathar brought thither the ephod unto David. 8. And David inquired at Yah. See there? See, the ephod was something that they used, and I don't know what it was. The ephod was something they used to inquire. Now, I'm not going to say like people use cards, uh, people use different things. Like some people, they use tarot cards, you know what I'm saying? They tarot cards. But I don't know what the ephod and how they use that. I got to look that up and find out how they used it. But that's what they use according to find out information from the creator. you know. So just giving information. And like I say, these things are for our learning, not to use in the way people use stuff today. They was trying to learn from the creator. A lot of people use stuff today just to learn stuff about whatever they want to talk about and this and that. But they don't put it in the creator's name. They don't ask in the creator's name. They just look up stuff. And I recognize that when it's a story of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat, what's his name? Yeah, I think it's Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat. Yeah. Jehoshaphat, when he went to Ahaz or Ahab, and when they was getting ready to go to war, all these priests or priests or prophets was supposed to be prophesizing, and they was using idols and things like that, prophesizing. And then Ahab, just to give you a quick synopsis of the story, Ahab asked, this is the key. Ahab asked, should I go up and fight or should I forbear? And this prophet that he hated because he said that he always prophesied evil unto him because of the kind of king he was. He wasn't a good king. Well, he wasn't a good king in Yah's eyesight. I don't know what the people thought, but the crazy he wasn't a king of his. So because he practiced evil. So Ahab or Ahaz is one of those kings. He asked Micah. He asked him, should I go up or should I forbear? And then Micah said, go up and prevail. Then he said, now I'm asking you in the name of Yah, should I go up and prevail? Then he got a different answer. This is what I want y'all to understand. See, every time you know David, he always inquired of Yah. He didn't just inquire. This is the difference that people don't understand today. They just go there, oh, I want to get a reading. I want a reading. They never say, I want a reading from Yah. Or can you please tell me through Yah's word or what? People don't get that. They go in their own, just like Jesus and Yeshua in the New Testament. You have heard, excuse me, you have heard of old time, such and such, such, such. But I say unto you, this, and this. He's making his own way. But people can't see it. They don't even understand it because they're not into the book. When you study, read, you start to see clues. This is how you understand. Like I just set up and I picked up the Jezreelites and the Carmelite of David two wives. These are the lands that they came from. So this is the Father give you clues in the Bible, but you just don't see them and have no understanding if you don't study. And not only studying the Bible, if you study stuff that the Creator has given us that we're supposed to be in today to get back to ourselves, you won't know. We all have an inheritance that we don't realize. But time is here, time is now. So, again, verse 7, no, verse 8. Verse 8. I like to see that in a minute. And David inquired at Yah, saying, see there? And David inquired, Yah saying, he inquired. He asked of Yah. He didn't do it for himself. Shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he said, answer him, pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. You see that? That's how you know when the Creator's talking. Excuse me, y'all. Right here. There we go, right here. But David encouraged himself in Yah, his father. And David said to Abiathar, I guess that's his name, excuse me, that you read, we can see. Abiathar, the priest, Amalek's son, I pray thee, bring me hither the ephod. And Abiathar brought the ephod to David. And David inquired at Yah, saying, shall I pursue after this troop and overtake them? And he answered him, pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake him, and without fail recover all. So David went. So David went, he and the 600 men that were with him, and came to the brook Besor, with those that were left behind stayed. But those that were left behind had behind stayed. With those that was left behind, they stayed there. They stayed at the brook. Okay. But David pursued, and he, verse 10, but David pursued, he and 400 men, for 200 abode behind, which were so faint that they could not go over the brook Besor. And they found an Egyptian in the field and brought him. Excuse me, y'all. Let me do this real quick. Excuse me. Do that. Excuse me. I just want to get that real quick. Forgive me. So, verse 11 again. And they found an Egyptian in the field and brought him to David and gave him bread, and he did eat. And they made him drink water. Verse 12. And they gave him a piece of a cake of figs and 2 clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit came again to him. I mean, like he must have been faint. He must have been out there in the field. He was faint. And his spirit came into with him again. Let's go to show the I just want to put that. And when he had eaten, his spirit came again to him. For he had eaten no bread nor drink any water 3 days. You see that? And 3 nights. You see that? 3 days and 3 nights. You see the difference in the two? People always just talking about they trying to put the night and day at the same time. 3 days and 3 nights. 13. And David said unto him, to whom belongest thou? And whence art thou? And he said, I am a young man of Egypt, servant to the Amalekites. He said, servant to the Amalekite. And my master left me 3 days alone. I fell sick. And my master left me because 3 days agone I fell sick. Or he fell sick. We made an invasion upon the south of the treasury. Hold on, let me see this. We made an invasion the south of the Chezerites, Chezerites, and upon the coast which belongeth to Judah, and upon the south of Caleb, and we burned Ziklag with fire. So he was with them. 15. And David said to him, canst thou bring me down to this company? And he said, swear unto me by Yah that thou wilt neither kill me nor deliver me into the hand of my master. Don't kill me and don't give me back to that man. And he said, yeah, swear unto me by Yah that thou wilt neither kill me nor deliver me into the hand of my master, and I will bring thee down to his company. All right. He don't want to go back with him, so that guy must have been cruel. He must don't want to be with him no way. And when he had brought him down, behold, they were spread abroad upon all the earth, eating and drinking and dancing, because of all the great spoil that they had taken out of the land of the Philistines and out of the land of Judah. Oh, okay. So the Philistines was already gone. All them people was gone. And Judah is where they went and took the people from. In the land of Judah. 17. And David smote them from the twilight. And David smote them from the twilight. Okay. Y'all know when the twilight is, right? Even unto the evening of the next day. You see that? The twilight, let me share something with everybody. Twilight is at the now I said to the evening of the next day. The evening of the next day, make sure I get this. These are clues that I'm sharing right here. And David smote them from the twilight, even unto the evening of the next day. And there escaped not a man of them, save 400 young men which rode upon camels and fled. Except 400 young men, huh? They must have let them go. And David smote them from the twilight. Now, the twilight is like just before dark, or at the is right at the just at the beginning of darkness. Now, and David smote them from the twilight even until the evening. So all that night until the evening of the next day. All that night, either until noon or until the end of the evening the next day. Anywhere in between the evening that was after the morning. So it had to be the evening, anywhere between noon and anywhere in between that time. From that night, going into the night, as the sun was going down or right at darkness, they went in, they started killing them up until that time. Let's see where we at. Let me take it on through a little bit more. See where we're at right now. We have 40 something minutes in. Well, we're gonna pause it right there. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it here, and we'll just take the rest of it on through on part two. We at 44, we're in 46 minutes in, we're almost 50 minutes in. So we're gonna pause it right here for part one. And now, Nicole, while you're here, is there anything you want to share according to the story that you just heard here? And anything that was said according to what we just heard in here? Sister Nicole. So we're gonna stop at verse 18 and we're gonna come back at Samuel 30 and 18 in part two, and then we're gonna take that from there on into, let me see first. I don't know, maybe I should finish this on now, but this is only got 18 through 31. We have 40 something minutes in, but hmm. Is there anything you like to say, sis? According to what we just read from 30 up to this point, or a little bit coming into it? I don't know if you're still there or not. You have to push your unmute. I had to mute earlier, so we wouldn't hear anything in the background. And again, she might not be there. Sister Nicole Bell is with us today. So other than that, what we're going to do is we're going to pause it real quick. This is 1 Samuel chapter 30 we just went into. And we're going into part two in a few moments. It's in a part one. Part two, we're going to start at David recovers all the spoil. And that's going to be part two of verse of chapter, which this is, what is it? Saul, oh no, the death of Saul. That's what it is. That's right. The death of Saul. Forgot how I put that. The death of Saul. This is where we are today. So other than that, we're going to pause it right here. We'll start back in a few moments with David recovers all the spoil. That's coming next. So other than that, I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwelled, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see, that Mikael is really me. And this is the end of part one of Saul, the death of Saul, end of part one. In 1 Samuel chapter 30, we're going to start back in 1 Samuel chapter 30, verse 18 in a few moments. In part two, 1 Samuel 30, verse 18 in part two. And just wanted to share with you that if you'd like to get in contact with me, you can always call or text me at 770 572 5315. That's 770-572-5315. And you can also email me at lkhyym@gmail.com. That's LKH, excuse me, LKHYYM@gmail.com. That's my email. And you can also catch me on my YouTube, which I am rebuilding. My YouTube, which is Juice Pro 33. That's JUICEPRO 33. Juice Pro 33. And that's my X, formerly known as Twitter. My X, formerly known as Twitter, both of them are Juice Pro 33, right? And you can like, subscribe, and share on YouTube at that page as well. But don't forget, it's all together. JUICEPRO 33 all together. Also, my Instagram and my TikTok. Instagram and my TikTok. My Instagram is and my TikTok is the L'chaim underscore the juice, which is LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. There's LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. You can also catch me on my other TikTok, which is Michael the Juice Harris. That's MICHAELTHE, excuse me, JUICEHARRIS. Again, that's Michael the Juice Harris, all together, one word. MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. That's my other TikTok all together. My Facebook is Mikael Harris, which is MI apostrophe CHAEL space HARRIS. That's Mikael Harris, MI apostrophe CHAEL space HARRIS. Now, also my, I don't know why this started happening every time. Also, you can catch me on my, what should I say, the Zoom, which is the full version on YouTube, and also on YouTube under video. The part one and part two is under live, but the video is the full version on the video and is in X, formerly known as Twitter. The full versions are there, and the full version of the information is located in patreon.com/LKHYYM. That's patreon.com/LKH, excuse me, YYM. And also you can catch me on rumble.com/LKHYYM. That's rumble.com/LKHYYM. Other than that, like I said, this is the end of part one of The Death of Saul, and we'll be right back with part two. I thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and always, peace. All right, over here on YouTube first. We'll be right back. Hopefully, anyone that's coming or came will check the information out. Be right back. Peace. And over here on Instagram, we'd like to thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and always. Peace. There we go. And over here on YouTube Live, part one. I'd like to thank you for your time, your patience, your listening ear, and your seeing eye. Appreciate, love you, and always. Peace. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll be right back. Good morning, this here. This one. Wait a minute. You got wait, wait. Snack on real quick. Hmm. All right. Set you right there. Yeah. All right. All right. Oh, we recording the whole time. I didn't even put you on pause. Thought I did. Well, we here now. Might as well keep it moving. Thought I put you on pause, Zoom. Greetings, 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 family, friends, and the world. This is Mikael Eric Harris, better known as the Juice, also known as the Alkaline Water Guy. This is, or shall I say, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. This is Assembly of the Righteous. Today is October 4th, 2025. October 4th, 2025. And I just we just got done with part one of um, um, the death of Saul. And we just and I wouldn't believe I didn't believe I thought I paused the recording, but I didn't. So y'all will see everything I what I did actually getting everything set up coming to the next part. So I didn't pause recording, so this is gonna be a little longer than expected on the death of Saul is where we at today on the full version. So like I said, I didn't pause the recording, so I sat here, got everything together, did everything I need to do before finishing up what I need to do. And y'all sit up here. I guess y'all watching me eating everything, you know. But other than that, we're back at um, 1 Samuel chapter 30, and we're at verse 18. Now, just to give you a little interlude, we shared what happened in last week in part one when Saul got it in a witch to pull up this so-called the spirit of Samuel, which is really the spirit of Yah, but the spirit of Samuel. And then also after that was last week, and this is the reason why today is called the death of Saul. And then in chapter 30, not too long ago, which is in part one, and the Amalekites came and they took the people of Zillag. Um, they took the people of Zillag, the third day of the month, because I guess it was the third day of the new moon, I believe it was, because it said the third day. They all the people of the Amalekites came. They stole all the people. They burnt the city down, and they came and stole the people, and they took the people off. But they didn't kill anybody. But they burnt the city down and took all the spoil and everything. But not only that, they did that to the Philistines as well. So the Amalekites did it to the Philistines because all the Philistines were there fighting Israel. Some people probably didn't even pick that up. Um, I want to make sure I get that point because that was something that the young man had said that invasion upon the south of the Chezerites and upon the coast of that belongs to Judah and upon the south of the of Caleb, and we burned Ziklag with fire. That was the end of verse 13. David said on the hill was we made invasion upon the south of Chezerites and upon the coast which belongeth to to Judah, and upon south of Caleb, which was I think Caleb was one of the sons, was one of the sons that came in. Caleb and Jacob went in, so I think that was his land. And we burned Ziklag with fire. And David, oh, okay, right here in verse 16 it says, and when he had brought him down, behold, they were spread among the upon all the earth, eating and drinking. No, or this was a young man was talking and swearing to me, saying that God, thou would not kill me nor deliver me into the hands of my master. This is verse 15 of 1 Samuel 30, 1 Samuel chapter 30. And he said, swear unto me by Yah that thou wilt neither kill me nor deliver me into the hand of my master, and I will bring thee down to thee to his company. And when he had brought him down, behold, they were spread upon all the earth, eating and drinking and dancing because of the great spoil that they had taken out of the land. Here we go. Great spoil they taken out of the land of the Philistines and out of the land of Judah. So I guess the Chezerites, out the south of the Chezerites, I guess that was the Philistines, and the post that belongeth unto Judah, and the coast that belongeth to Judah, and upon the south of Caleb, and we burnt Ziklag with fire. So it's keys in this. Ziklag may have belonged to Caleb, maybe, which is still part of Judah. Who knows? I can't say yeah or nay. But these are just clues that people need when we're studying. These are things to look for. Invasion upon the south of Caleb. So we'll make sure I get this. These are different clues that people do not pay attention to. And upon the coast that which belonged to Judah, and upon the south of Caleb, and we burnt Ziklag. Okay, we got Ziklag with fire. But that's when they made their invasion. But then they also go to show and dancing because they great sport that they had taken out of the land of the Philistines and out of the land of Judah. But another key to that, and David smote them. Now I'm going into 18. Verse 17 says, and David smote them from the twilight even unto the evening of the next day. And I would say the twilight is when when you're right at the edge of night, going into the night, even until the evening, which is either anywhere into the evening, which is the noonday, or anywhere into the noonday the next day. Right? And David smote them from the twilight even unto the evening of the next day. And there escaped not a man of them, not a man of them, save 400 young men. Now, the young men could have been boys, little boys, teenagers, or something like that, which rode upon camels and fled. 400. Now, how did they get the number? It was 400 of them that fled. David recovers all the spoils. Okay, now we're going into verse 18. Now we're getting started in part two. And we're at verse 18. And David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away. And David rescued his two wives, right? Excuse me. And there was nothing lacking to them, neither small nor great, neither sons nor daughters, neither spoil nor anything that they had taken to them. David had recovered all. This was of the Creator. But what I want y'all to understand, they was ready to kill David over in verse what was it over there in verse 6 and 7. They was ready to kill David because all this stuff was gone. But y'all got to understand the hand of the Creator. Nothing was lacking, nothing was dead. And why was the Amalekites? The Amalekites was the same one that the Creator told Saul to go kill. They're the one that the Creator told Saul to kill. Now they went and he killed all those people at that time. Now, I don't know if he was finished or not, but with those people, that's who he killed at that time. Who he got out, who he the Creator had told Saul to kill. And David took all the flocks and the herds which they drove before those other cattle, and said, "This is David's spoil." And David took all the flocks and the herds which they drove before those other cattle, and said, "This is David's spoil." Mhm. And David came to the 200 men. All right. Let me put it like this. This is David's spoil. But David was the one who led him. How he do it? Through the word of the Creator when he inquired. Everybody else was scared and stuff. David said, "Come on, y'all, let's go." After he inquired of the Creator. And David came to the 200 men which were faint, that they could not follow David, whom they had made also a abide at the brook Bezor. And they went forth to meet David and to meet the people that were with him. And when David came near to the people, he saluted them. See, you say salute. We don't say salute. That's not our word. I'm surprised they didn't put greeting him, but they got salute. Then answered all the wicked men and men. Then answered all the wicked men and men of Belial. Okay, here we go. This is who's talking. Of the wicked men and the men of Belial. Of those that went with David. Okay. So this goes to show you always got somebody of Satan, meaning the negative people. That's what you got to look at. You say they're saying wicked here, but these are people with negative spirits. That's all it is. Then answered all the wicked men and men of Belial of those that went with David and said, "Because they went not with us." See, these are the people who was talking against them now. Now check this out. And said, "Because they went not with us, we will not give them aught of the spoil that we have recovered. Say to every man his wife and his children, that they may lead them away and depart." Then David said, "Ye shall not do so, my brethren, with that which Yah has given us." You see that? You see that? This is what they said. Because they went not with us. We will not give them nothing. See that? Then answered all the wicked men and men of Belial, men of Satan, those that went those that went with David. But see, this goes to show the difference. When people talk about Satan, like I always told you, Satan is within you. When they talk about Satan, devil this, devil that, you Satan. Let me share something with you. With the same situation here, all the people that was going against the creator and they wanted the abortion rights and all this other stuff, they're the ones who is of Satan. They're the people of Belial. They don't even realize it. Look at Look at the example here. Because they went not with us, we will not give them aught of the spoil that we have recovered. Save to every, except to every man his wife, that is, and his children, that they may lead them away and depart. Then David said, Ye shall not do so, my brethren, with that which Yah has given us. Who shall preserve, who have preserved us and delivered the company that came against us into our hand? For who will hearken unto you in this matter? For who will hearken unto you in this matter? But as his but as his part in But as his part in that goeth down to the battle, so shall his part be that tarrieth by the stuff. They shall depart alike. And it was from that day forward that he made it a statute. Okay. And it was from that day forward that he made it a statute and an ordinance for Israel unto this day. And when David came to Ziklag, okay, we got to make sure we got to keep that. This is special, whatever it is. What he said, we got to make sure that what he said. And it was from that day forward he made a statute and an ordinance for Israel unto this day. Then said David, Ye shall not do so, my brethren, with that which Yah has given us, who hath preserved us, and delivered the company that came against us into our hand. For who will hearken unto you in this matter? Okay. But as his part in that goeth down to the battle, so shall his part be that tarrieth by the stuff. Let me go right here. That stay by the stuff. But as his part is that goeth down to the battle, so shall his part be that tarrieth by the stuff. Company that may come against in our hand. Then said, Ye shall not do so, my brethren, what that which Yah has given us, with that which Yah has given us, who has preserved us and delivered the company that came against us into our hand. Mm-hmm. For who have hearkened unto you in this matter? Who have heard, who listened to you in this matter? Who was y'all to be sitting up talking? Who told you? They had to stay behind. They stayed behind, they've been behind, they stayed behind for a purpose. And when David came to verse 26, and when David came to Ziklag, he sent of the spoil unto the elders of Judah, even to his friends, saying, Behold, and when David came to Ziklag, he sent of the spoil unto his elders of Judah, of the elders of Judah, even to his friends, saying, Behold, a present for you of the spoil of the enemies of Yah. You see that? This is, I believe, what you're talking about. And when David came to Ziklag, he sent of the spoil unto the elders, his friends, saying, Behold, of a present for you of the spoil of the enemies of Yah. See that spoil of the enemies of Yah, not his enemies, the enemies of the righteous. To them which were in Bethel, and to them which were in the south Ramoth, and to them which were in Jattir. So he sent a lot of stuff to them. They had a lot of stuff. Don't forget, it was the spoil of the Philistines and their own. Uh, Yetter. 28. And to them which were in Aurora, and to them which were in Shemoth, and to them which were in Estimoa, Esthtmoa, 29. And to them which were in, they had a lot of stuff. And to them which is in Rachel, and to them which were in the cities of Yeramil, Yeramelites, and to them which were in the cities of the Kenites, and to them which were in Hormah, and to them which were in Korash, Korashim, and to them which were in uh, Athach, Athach, 31, and to them which were in Hebron, and to all the places. He got a lot of stuff. To all places where David himself and his men were wont to hunt, haunt, were wont to haunt, where David and his men were wont to haunt. Chapter 31. So he sent the information throughout, he sent spoil throughout the land. He got enough from them to go. That's why they was rejoicing. And it was a lot of people for them 400 to be fighting and killing everybody from that night, which was the beginning of the night, to the noon the next day, or into far into the evening of the next day. Excuse me. Far into the evening of the next day, there was a lot of killing, and it was a lot of stuff. Right? Chapter 31. The death of Saul and his sons. The death of Saul and his sons. Here we go. Now the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines, and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. Fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons. Oh, they followed hard against him. Followed hard against him. All right. And the Philistines followed hard upon Saul and upon his sons. And the Philistines slew Jonathan. Oh, man. I forgot they slew Jonathan. And Abinadab and Malchishua. 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 Saul's sons. Mm. And the Philistines slew Jonathan and Abinadab, those three. Mm. And the battle went sore against Saul, and the archers hit him. And the archers hit him. He knew it was about to happen. And the archers hit him. Somebody hit him with an arrow, bow and arrow. And he was sore wounded of the archers. Mm. When they came strong, all them people came. Then said Saul unto his armor bearer, draw thy sword, check it out. Then said Saul unto his armor bearer, draw thy sword and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through and abuse me. But the armor bearer would not, for he was so afraid. Therefore Saul took a sword and fell upon it. You see that? Then said Saul unto his armor bearer, draw thy sword and thrust it therewith, lest the uncircumcised come and thrust me through. Because I say, and abuse me. Y'all see that right there? And abuse me? That's a clue right there. Y'all know what you mean by abusing, don't you? A lot of this gay stuff going on today. But the armor bearer would not, for he was so afraid. Therefore, he said he was going to die anyway. Saul took a sword and fell upon it. He said, no, I ain't going to let them do this to me. And I don't blame him. And when his armor bearer saw that Saul was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword. You see there? He said, I ain't let him get me neither. And died with him. Mm, 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 mm. Yep. Excuse me, y'all. I'm making points here. The death of Saul and his sons. Then said Saul in verse 4 unto his armor bearer, draw thy sword and thrust me through therewith, lest these uncircumcised come and thrust me through and abuse me. So you know they're going to abuse him first and then kill him. But the armor bearer would not, for he was so afraid. Therefore Saul took a sword and fell upon it. And when his armor bearer saw that Saul had died, was dead, he fell likewise upon his sword and died with him. And Saul died and his 3 sons and his armor bearer and all his men that same day together. That's verse 6. That's the word of Yah. What should I put that in? It's the word of Yah, it's prophecy. That's what the Creator told. That what the Creator told him through Samuel, the Spirit. So Saul died, and his three sons and his armor bearer, and all his men that same day together. Verse 7. And when the men of Israel that were on the other side of the valley, and they that were on the other side, Jordan, saw that the men of Israel fled, and Saul and his sons were dead, Saul and his sons was dead, they forsook the city and fled, and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. Philistines came, they dwelt, it sound like they dwelt in the cities. They and when the men of Israel on the other side of the valley, and they were on the other side of Jordan, saw that the men of Israel fled, and that Saul and his sons were dead, they forsook the cities and fled, and the Philistines came and dwelt in them. Philistines came and they dwelt in them. And it came to pass on the morrow, the following day, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his three sons fallen in Mount. Hmm, that's when they noticed it. When they went to go strip, they forsook the cities and fled, and Philistines came and dwelt in them. And it came to pass on the morrow, the next day, when the Philistines came to strip the slain, that they found Saul and his three sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. Make sure I get that. And it came to pass on the morrow, when the Philistines came and stripped us, they found Saul and his three sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. Saul and his three sons fallen in Mount Gilboa. 9. And they cut off the head and stripped off his armor. Man. And they cut off his head. And they cut Saul's head off. Boy, when the creator is against you, he against you, boy. And they cut off his head and stripped off his armor and sent into the land of the Philistines round about to publish it in the house of their idols and among the dang. Woo. Dang. Verse 9 again. And I should put this in orange. The Philistines slew. Let me put that in orange. I was going to put it in orange. And they cut off his head and stripped off his armor and sent into the land of the Philistines. Make sure everybody can see me here. Round about and published it in the house of their idols and among the people. And they put his armor in the house of Ashroth, and they fastened his body to the wall of Bashan. You see that? Put his body to the now. I don't know if that's necromancy or put his armor in the house of their god, Ashtaroth, and they fastened his body to the wall of, I don't know what Beth Shan is. I don't know if that's an idol or a place of their worship. Stripped off him and sent it into the land, cut off his head and sent it into the land of the Philistines. Boy, the Creator will. And it's always good to stay to publish it in the house of their idols. That's it then. That's the house of their idols. And among the people. That was his idol. There was another house of idol, the house of Ashtaroth, and they fastened his body in the wall of Bashan. That's the house of their idols. Mm, mm, mm. Verse 11. And when the inhabitants of Yabesh Gilead heard of what of that which the Philistines had done to Saul, and when the inhabitants of Jabesh, I don't know, Jabesh Gilead, heard of that which the Philistines had done unto Saul, all the valiant men arose and went all night, and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Bashan, and came to Jabesh and burnt them there. Okay, from the wall of Bashan. Now, Jabesh, and when the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard of that which the Philistines had done to Saul, all the valiant men, they arose and went all night and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Bashan and came to Jabesh and burnt them there. So it looked like cremation was for a purpose, and they took their bones and okay, and they buried them under a tree at Jabesh and fast 7 days. Okay, they took their bones and buried them under a tree. So this is the bones, which could be the ashes. You ain't supposed to be holding on to them. You're supposed to bury them. People get them, they put them in urns. You ain't supposed to do that. And bury them under a tree. So the bones will be the ashes at Jabesh, and they fasted 7 days. Mhm. Mm-mm-mm. That's something. That's a death, y'all. And fasted 7 days. That is something, y'all. That's a curse. When the father don't turn, when the father ain't with you no more, he didn't want to get it buried, but he didn't want them to do because they'd have mocked him and said, yeah, we did this and we did that to his body. We did this before we killed him. You know how people can talk. He said, yeah, he said about abusing him. I don't want them to he said about abuse me. Excuse me. Make sure this stands up. Because that ain't gonna show. The uncircumcised come and thrust him through and abuse him. Mm, mm, mm. Well, that's the end of chapter 30, y'all. Chapter 31, that is. That was the end of 31. There was only 13 verses, but all I can say, y'all, get on the creator's right side. Get on the creator's right side. He has no respect of person. You see right here now, even though um Jonathan Jonathan was a friend of David. He loved David, but the father may put that spirit of love on him so he can have his, so he can always be, um, protected. This is where the father shows his protection amongst his people. The father shows his protection amongst the people by giving you favor with people and people looking out for you. That's your key of protection. A lot of time it may not even be the person, maybe just a favor of the creator on you. Even though Jonathan, it always said Jonathan loved David. If you notice that, it always said how much Jonathan loved David. And then really speak on how much David really cared for Jonathan, even though David was a friend to him. No, I treat people like I want to be treated. But it always talk about how Jonathan loved David like his brother, like his own brother. Jonathan even said that he even told David, when you be king, I just want to sit next to you. That's the creator. Some people can't even see past the storm. Like right now, I share information with these people about the Father's name is his law. They can't see past a regular name. They looking at the creator like a man. The creator's name is his law, and those who respect his laws who is his jewels. And this is sad that people cannot see beyond what the scriptures is showing. The scriptures show you everything clear as day, but no, I understand people are blind. Just understand that. Just have to understand people are blind. They're blind today. They've been blind, and a lot of people choose not to see. We got one brother. He got just got. That's why I was kind of late. But one brother, he always everybody's giving this Yahshua praise. So I asked him a question. Well, why don't you do it for all the other prophets? Why are you singling out Yahshua, who they got the story from, and they named Jesus? See, they're how'd you say they in denial and they use excuses. People are in denial and they use excuses and try to say, okay, all in all, we see you. We see you. Me, myself, I always say, and I don't care how much y'all try to twist, the Father see you too. All y'all. The ones who call yourself straight Hebrew Israelites, just Old Testament only, and the ones y'all Hebrew Christians. I ain't even talking about the Christians and the Jacobs. They're dead anyway. When I say dead, they're dead in the mind and the Creator's word. But I'm talking about you Hebrew Christians who start to know that the Creator's law is word. The Creator's law is final. And that's through him and his prophets. I just read to you, and I do it every Sabbath. The law and the prophets. He spoke on the law, and he said he's going to raise you up a prophet from among your brethren, which is a prophet in his time. All of them carried the word of Yah, the voice of Yah. And right here, the Father show you all through the word, but people's eyes are blind, and either they choose to stay blind or they just would not turn and hearken to the word that's been given by the servant of Yah. Because I'm a servant. There's many servants out here, but I'm one of them. And all I'm saying is that the creative word speaks for itself. And for those who can't see, who have eyes and see not, who have ears and hear not, these are right in front of your face. But you can't hear or see because you're blind and deaf to the real information. That's the problem we have today. And you know something? Excuses is going to run out because you see and know. It's been given to you and you know. You can't say you wasn't told, you wasn't warned, and that you didn't even inquire the Father to see if I was right or wrong or telling you the information. Or if the Creator come to you through people to give you information and you don't inquire to find out and ask him to put the truth in you to see, to know, you at fault. Because people still choose how I'm trying to say it, excuse me, to be in denial. But that's your choice. Father give you clues all through the book. But that's your choice. Y'all keep saying the Father's name is Yah, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yaha, Yahaya, and all this other stuff. And all through it, he keep telling you my name. And he shows you it's the law. Malachi 3:16 through 18 is a perfect example. How you going to make up his Jews for those who thought upon his name And he made a book of remembrance. The book is the law. The book is the whole Bible. Y'all don't even realize this whole Bible is true. And they try to twist my word when I say, oh, the whole Bible true, or this and that, and this and that. His name is this and that, and this and that, and this and that. Y'all have no understanding. He said that if you don't keep my law, which is the blessings, if you don't keep my law, I'm going to send you in a land that ye know not. There you're going to serve other gods, wood and stone, gods your fathers haven't known. Jesus, Yahshua, the one that y'all calling on today, according from the writings of the New Testament, that's not Yahshua's story, not his true full story, because we really don't know the true full story. We're going by what was given to us that was modified by those who took his story and modified it and gave it to the world for the world to believe something other than what it is. Matter of fact, if you even calling on them, it's an abomination because you're breaking the first 3 commandments. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image in heaven above, earth beneath, or waters on the earth, or anything or any likeness of anything. So that means no thing. The consciousness is the breath of life. That's Yah. Some people call that Yah. And I ain't saying it, I'm doing it. The breath of life is Yah. So all this stuff that people are doing and you all corrupted and just embedded yourself in, hey, you can have an ear to hear and then you don't have to. How are you going to speak YHWH when there's no way you can pronounce it? People are stuck. Y'all keep trying to put Yah as a man. Yah is not a man that he can lie or do anything else other than his word that he has given through the consciousness of air to put in your mind to apprehend or comprehend. But the people choose to stay ignorant. So I know I put you on which call earlier, Sister Nicole. I don't know if you want to say anything or not. I don't know about.
I'm still here.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Would you like to say anything on what that was said earlier? I tried to get you to say something earlier. I couldn't hear from you.
Oh, no, I see here in Samuel, which one is, I believe Samuel 30,
Oh,
when we
you
get
going in
down,
and out. This mug is popping on and off like ain't nothing.
is it?
Now say something else because it was just going in and out.
Okay. On in
Dang, it's going.
Samuel,
Eh. I'm barely hearing. I can barely hear what you're saying.
maybe it has something to do with, I don't know, that this morning thing with the, I don't know, that AI, I'm not sure.
Right. Oh, I'm hearing you now. You're going through now. But what you was about to ask or say?
No, where I see that in Samuel 25, where he made this statute. So he made this is also a law and an ordinance for Israel upon this day when he spoke about that. He made
Wait. Samuel, where you at?
Samuel 25.
First Samuel, is it chapter 25 or is it chapter 30 plus verse 25?
First Samuel verse 25.
First Samuel verse 25 and chapter 30.
Yes.
And it was from that day. No, wait a minute, hold on. We in
Yeah,
30?
that's it. That's one.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it
And
was it was
it was so from that day forward that he made it a statute, and not a statue a statue is like like they have uh low codes and statutes
yeah,
and
yeah. That's what I was referencing to. So he made this a statute and the ordinance, like the codes. So basically he made this a law as of this day.
and there you go. That's right. It's a law.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
I'm glad you
Okay.
caught that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking. So the
Do
Bible.
you know what he's saying at this point?
So well from
I'm glad you
From
caught
okay,
that.
if I go back up, he said, then David said, "You shall not do so, my brethren." I might have to go back up a little
You will
more.
go up to go up to 22.
Okay. He says, and then answered all the wicked men and men, Biala of those.
Belial, mean all the men of Satan. Remember how always they say, well, Satan did this. Satan is the spirit within the person. So Belial is
Okay.
just another word for Satan and the wickedness. That's all.
Okay. But Belial of those that went with David and said, because they went not with us, we will not give them out. We will not give them out.
Annie. It's just Annie.
Okay, we will not give them in of the soil, and we have
The
recovered
spoil.
that we have recovered.
Right.
Save save for every man him, his wife, and his children, that they may lead them away and depart. Then
Wait a minute.
said
Okay,
David.
hold on. Do you understand what happened right here?
So the people, it sounds like the since they didn't come with, basically, y'all ain't coming with us. We ain't giving you nothing.
Wait a minute.
You,
Say that again.
so basically, what they're saying, like, well, they didn't come with us. The people didn't want to come with them, so they're not going to share whatever they have with them.
That's right.
And it says we will not give them out of the soil we have recovered. So what they went out to get, I guess these people decided to stay back. They went out, they recovered stuff, and so basically, it sounds like they're saying, "Well, you didn't do nothing, you don't get nothing."
That's exactly what they were saying.
You know, um, but yet these were wicked men.
And guess why they was wicked?
Um, is this the spell that they had on them?
Huh?
The spell?
You going in and out, sis. Say that again.
I said, did they have a spell on them?
I'm sorry. This thing just going. I definitely I gotta get some money to get me another computer because this right here is just a trip.
Because earlier today, I was looking. I'm like, I seen that you were just sitting there, and I'm like, you were looking, doing some research, but I don't know. I don't think you could hear earlier, and I heard you saying that you thought you stopped the recording and everything. I heard you, but I don't think you can hear.
Yeah, I think I had you on mute at the time because I didn't want you to say that. That when that first started, but when I asked you just before I stopped part one,
Uh huh.
I was asking you, is there anything in here that you read or heard that you wanted to say, but I didn't hear you say that. You didn't come off the mute or anything. So I said, well, I don't know if you could hear me now, but your phone was on mute. You didn't know that you was on mute. 'Cause I think I put you on mute. You didn't know it because I didn't want you
Oh,
back.
okay.
So I just hit the ask to unmute a few moments, and then it came apart, I guess. So I probably should have did that then. But the reason why was because of what you just read. What you just read was it was at this point. Let me put my glasses back on. If you go back to chapter 30,
Okay.
if you go back to 30, hold on, okay, like verse 4 says, and then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice and wept until they had no power, they had no more power to weep. They was crying hard. Up here, then they wanted to kill David. They took David's wife, and all the people, all their stuff was gone. And then it said, verse 6, right here, verse 6 says, and David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his son and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in Yah, in the Creator. He encouraged himself in the Creator. Then he told the priest, in verse 7, he told the priest to come and bring an ephod, and then and I was sharing at that time that an ephod to me is something like they use something to inquire of the Creator. And I said something like people use tarot cards and other things they do when they're doing division or what they call it, divinations and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Also, what I was saying was that people they don't ask in the name of the Creator. They just ask for stuff. Well, I like to know this or I like to know that, but they're not doing it in the name of the Creator. Then I also gave an example about Jehoshaphat and when him and Ahaz or Ahab, one of the kings, one of the two kings, um, they was about to go up and they're going to fight. I think they're going to fight Syria, I believe. But one of the nations they're going to fight, and it was this prophet that Ahaz or Ahab, one of the names, I think it's Ahaz. I think that's who it was. But Ahaz, he didn't like that prophet because he always prophesied evil against him because he was an evil king in the eyes of the Creator. So when Micah came and when Ahaz asked him, "Should I go up and fight?" and Micah said, "Go up and prevail." And then he said, "I'm asking you in the name of God, in the name of Yah. Should I go up?" Then Micah gave an analogy, which I didn't say this part before, but this is in the book of the Kings or the Chronicles. Micah gave an analogy saying that the Creator was up and he's seen all these spirits out here. He said, "Who should go up and entice Ahab to fall in the battle?" Now all these different spirits said, I'll go," or they was talking one another. No, all of them was talking one another. Then one came up, he said, "I'll go," and he said, "Wherewith? Well, how you gonna go?" He said, "Well, I'm gonna be a lying spirit in all his prophets. I'm gonna be a lying spirit in all his prophets." And he said, and then to make him fall in the battle. Then the Creator told that spirit will go up and prevail. So when Micah was giving Ahaz when he told him at first, when he said go up and prevail, the Micah was telling Ahaz, "Well, you go ahead and up and prevail," because he didn't ask in the name of the Creator. Now
Hmm.
he said, "I'm asking you in the name of the Creator." Then that's when he gave him that analogy, and he said, "You ain't gonna make it in through the battle." Now he told him the truth. You ain't gonna make it through the battle. You ain't coming back from the battle. Then he said, "Put him in might as well put him in prison and put him in jail until I come back." And he said, "Well, if you come back, the Creator ain't spoke." No different than the spirit of Samuel, which is of the Creator, told Samuel, "Tomorrow you and your son's gonna die. Y'all gonna be here with me. Your spirit gonna be back with me." So this is what I try to share with people. The scriptures tell what's going on, but people can't see. And I don't know if I'm going a long way around what I'm sharing with you, but just to go and share about the ephod. This with David, he used the ephod. He brought the ephod to David. And verse 8 says, "And David inquired at Yah, saying, Shall I pursue after the troop? Or shall I overtake them?" Then Yah, it said, then he answered, which is then Yah answered him, "Pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover all." I mean everything. Now see, this is when David recovered everything. But the Creator said that David was going to do it. The reason why David was going to do it, David inquired of the Creator. That's the reason why over here, make a long story short, over here in verse 20, it says, "And David took all the flocks and the herds which they drove." This is verse 20. From that point, over here 20. "And David took all the flocks and the herds which they drove before those other cattle and said, This is David's spoil." Why? Because the father told him that after he inquired. All the 400 men went, but this is the reason why the other 200 didn't go. Let me go ahead and find it real quick. There's a reason and cause to everything, but we have to find the reason and cause. A lot of people are quick to assume without checking the information. It was before this point. Right up here. Oh, right here, verse 10. We go from 9, right here, verse 8, 9, and 10. "And
Hmm.
David inquired at Yah, saying, Shall I pursue after the troop? shall I overtake them? And he answered him, Pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. Verse 9. So David went and the 600 men that were with him and came to Brook Besor, where those that were left behind stayed. So it was two of them that was left behind when they was with David the whole time. So he always left 200 with the people. Verse 10. But David pursued and he and 400 men. Right here, that's the key.
Okay, so 200 stayed behind.
Right, exactly. These are the
Yeah.
ones that the men of Belial didn't want to give the spoil to. So David pursued and 400 men. I'm glad we're right here. And 400 men for 200 abode behind.
Hmm.
And there was a reason why. See, there's a reason for everything. And 200 abode behind, which were so faint that they could not go over the brook. They were so faint. Why? Because they was fasting. Well, I can say it was fasting. They hadn't ate anything.
Yeah, because they didn't share with them.
That okay, but it hadn't got to that point. Check it out. It hadn't got to that point yet. That's when, as you read the story, which was so afraid, they were so faint. The faint mean like when you won't eat. If you fast, you fast before?
Yes. Not to where I was faint though.
Okay. That's the difference. When you ain't got no food, you don't eat and you don't drink. If you read down, I don't know if you was with me when I was reading down. When they came across this Egyptian right there in verse 11. And they found an Egyptian in the field and brought him to David and gave him bread and he did eat. And they made him drink water, verse 12. And they gave him a piece of cake and figs and two clusters of raisins. And when he had eaten, his spirit came again to him. You see that?
Okay.
You see that?
Yeah.
Now, his spirit came back, and that gives you indication. That gives you indication that the guy was faint. He hadn't ate anything, right? And when he had eaten, his spirit had came again to him, for he had no bread nor drink water 3 days and 3 nights. Have you ever done that?
But 3 days. 3. Yeah, I have done it. I have done it a little more than 3 days. But
I've done it 5. But the spirit was upon me when I was doing it. See, he was just doing it because he didn't have they left him in the field. I think, and it
right,
said, because 3 days ago along are gone, I felt sick. He felt sick as well. You see that right there in verse the end of 13?
yeah. So he basically, for the human body, he had no real food, and then also for the spirit, he had
There
wasn't
you
fluent with
go.
no words.
Good way of putting it, sis. Good one.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah,
Great. Because if you're fasting for the creator, I went 5 days. And when you fasting, see right here, it just said it said he 3 days he felt sick,
right,
and it said he was out there 3 days, he just had no food and no water to drink. He wasn't doing it for the creator. So you
right,
hit it right on the nose, sis.
right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Baby, I'm glad to see you on. I see you finally made it here. Um Joanne said hi. She's over her mama house taking care of mama right now.
Okay. Say
Yeah.
hello.
So it says, and it said, we made invasion upon the south of the Chezerites and upon the coast where it belongeth to Judah. As I'm reading down, the Chezerite was the Philistine. So that while the Philistine was fighting Israel, they went in and invaded the Philistines, and they took a lot of spoil out of there. And then they went to Judah, which was the city of Ziklag, where David and them people was. They came and took everything, but they didn't kill anybody. They burnt the
Mm-hmm.
city and took all the spoil, but they took all the people and everything as well. But as we can see, we just read when it said that the for 200 abode behind,
Uh-huh.
and the reason why is because they was faint. They hadn't had any food or something, so they was faint. That's the reason why they fell behind,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is the reason why the 200 fell behind because they was faint and everything. They couldn't keep up. And over here, after they won and took the spoil, This is where 22 comes in at. It says, then answered all the wicked men of Belial, of those that went with David, and said, because they went not with us. And this goes to show selfishness.
Okay, all right. Okay, so these men who are speaking, these are the 400 who went with him.
Yeah, but it was, yeah, exactly. Thank you. But
Okay.
you got it now?
Yeah, these okay, so these are still David men. Okay, and then they turned against the 200.
Well, they ain't really turned against them. It said, that's why it says, greetings, baby. I'm glad you made it here with us. Glad to see you. I'm already done. I finished everything, but we're just going through like questions and answers at this point in time. But yeah, sis, what happened was this. It says, then answer all the wicked men. When it says wicked men, you don't know who wicked. Everybody is still good. Everybody can be good. But you don't, the people that talks wickedly is
Right,
wicked. When they
right,
talk again, when they don't talk like right now, we're supposed to be helping each other, right?
right.
Dang, something just hit me.
What?
Joanne.
What?
I'm talking about, I'm saying that because of Joanne for a person, something just hit me.
Uh,
People that don't want to help people is wicked.
right.
And that's the bottom line. That's what this is saying.
Uh-huh.
People that don't want to help others is wicked because the creator, all this is the creators. We're
Right.
supposed to help each other in the things we do and things like that. But just like it says here, then answer all the wicked men and men of Belial, of those that went with David. Of not all 400, it was certain ones in the 400 that was there.
Okay.
Of Belial, of those that went with David, and said, because they went not with us, we will not give them aught, anything of the spoil that we have recovered. Save to every except save is to accept to every man his wife and his children.
Mm-hmm.
Every man his wife and his children, that they may lead them away and depart. So the wives and children was the ones that was captured. So the men's of the 200 had wives and children that was there amongst all the ones that went and saved. So he said, well, we gonna give it to the men, we gonna give it to the wives and the children.
Okay.
Because they didn't go. But they was faint. They couldn't, if the person in charge said, okay, we're gonna let y'all stay here, we'll be back. The other 400 went, they did what they had to do, and the ones, not everybody, but the ones who spoke out against them, David said, no, we ain't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't doing that. No, you ain't gonna give just to the to the wives and the children, and gonna give the men nothing. They was with us the whole time. They just couldn't make it. And
Right.
that's why it was so from that day forward, and he made it a statute and an
Uh-huh.
ordinance for Israel unto this day. And you just said it, it's a law. Yes, it is.
Right.
It's a law. We're supposed to help each other. There's stuff going on right now that some people just not able to do.
So, I'm trying I'm looking here and I'm trying to find what this law would fall under in the present right now. Um, but I'm gonna go into this a little more on my own, and I'm gonna find out
To
this
get an
law.
understanding. I understand
Yeah,
exactly what you're saying.
what it reference to today.
Well, I look at it like this: if we see a poor man, they'll put it like this: the poor shall always be in the land.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to help the poor. Some people may not even have the knowledge to understand certain things.
Right.
Some people may not be able to even grasp like the stuff that we're coming to know and building and understanding. This is our like me. A lot of these so-called Moors and people that's going, I'm just being, I'm not going off because it's all the same thing.
Right.
A lot of these so-called Moors and people who have gained knowledge, and we know, you know what I'm talking about at this point.
Uh-huh.
They have the knowledge and they're making people pay for something that we supposed to be sharing and giving for free. The knowledge that is. Now, if I
Right.
have to work for it, you're gonna have to pay me. Even
Right,
though
right,
in my work I'm doing, I'm receiving because the Creator is always blessing me and us. When He gives us, we give away freely because we get it freely, right?
right, right,
But here, even though they fought for it, these men they couldn't make it because they tried. Maybe they stayed back, and who knows? 400 always was with David, so they might have been taken care of. The 200 that's always laying back, they might have been like, okay, we know we're gonna watch over everything, and whatever happened, whatever's going on at that time tells it. But the whole point is this is just showing the fact about how we're supposed to deal with each other.
right,
You see what I'm saying?
right,
So
right,
that's not a statute, but you have to see it in a way where you understand it instead of just looking at it word for word. And that's the problem I was talking with today about this name calling. Everybody calling Yah, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yah this, Yah that. Oh, his name is this. And they ain't looking at the word. The word
right.
is his name.
Like what we just talked about here. I seen a little something about how when the wolves travel, especially when they're getting ready to hunt, they have the strength in the front. They have the I believe is the cubs and the females, and then they have the elders in the back, and then they have another strength in the back. It how they travel when they're about to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of put me in the mind of, even though that these men right here, everybody don't have the same strength.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. And everybody have different assignments, and
There you
a lot of
go.
people, yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. And then we are, we also spoke about where when they went in and they cut off Solomon's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they cut off his head, and
Saul's head. Saul's.
yeah, when it comes to Saul's head, and what they did to his sons, I don't know if that has any reference to when God says that, what, He wants the body back whole. So if you take the head from one place, I don't know if these men are wicked, thinking that, okay, the body won't basically go to rest because it's not whole, or how they burn when they burn the body, it's ashes, because God never says anything about, I never heard him say anything about that. He wants ashes back to him. He said he wants the body back how he gave it to you.
Yeah, only thing happened is in this story they took his body. They went and I think they got the whole body back. Even though they didn't speak on the head, they said they went back into that place and got the body back. Um, they went and got the body,
Right.
and they burnt the body, and then they buried his ashes under a tree. And I would look at the ashes is the bones. Today
But
we
I
call them the
thought they
bones.
burnt.
Back then, I don't know if his bones turned to ashes. I don't know. But then again, at certain points in the bit with the book, where certain things happen in a certain type of way that I can go into, but it make it a long story. But what I'm gonna say is this: according to what we're seeing here, when they burnt them, they didn't keep the ashes. They burnt them and they put them under. Some people they uh they give it to the sea. They put the eats, but they burnt his ashes and put him under the ground. Burnt his bones and they buried the bones under a tree. So they could
Hmm.
have been ashes, and it wasn't said it, but who knows? But I don't know if that has anything to do with the afterlife.
Okay.
Just saying like about the head. See, don't forget it was the enemies that cut the head off. When they
Right.
took the
Right.
head off, they did that to promote it. Just like David when he cut Goliath's head off. Everybody seen that his head, he's gone, they took his stuff. They did the same thing to Saul. They cut the
Okay.
head off and they promoted it around the Philistines, showing. Then they put his body and his armor and stuff in the place of their gods,
Hmm.
as a trophy. Some of these Caucasians, they what they call them when they stuff animals.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When they put them up on the wall and the heads of the, yeah,
And yeah, they have done that to some of our people.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Some of
These
the,
now you talking about wicked man, this is evil. I forgot what you called it when they stuff animals and stuff like that, but these people is wicked. Now, but what I want to share with you, when you read on down after 26, When you see it says verse 26, when it says, and it says verse 25 and 26 says, and it was from that day forward that he made a statute and an ordinance for Israel unto this day, which is a law.
Uh-huh.
And when David came to Ziklag and sent of the spoil unto the elders of Judah, even to his friends, saying, Behold, the present for you of the spoil of the enemies of Yah. And when you read verse 27 to 31, that was a lot of stuff that they were sending out to all throughout the countries. That was a lot of stuff. So when they was killing when they was when they was killing them from when it said from the fifth time, verse 16 and 17.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had brought him down, which is that little man, behold, they were spread abroad amongst all the earth, upon all the earth, eating and drinking and dancing because of all the great spoil that they had taken out of the land of the Philistines. See, they had invaded Philistine and out of the land of Judah, the place that they came Ziklag. 17. And David smote them from the twilight even unto, meaning the going down at the end of the day, not sunset, but at the end of the day where there's no more light. From the
Right.
twilight even unto the evening of the next day, meaning even until the noon or after the noon part of the next day. And there escaped not a man of them, save which is except 400 young men which rode upon camels and fled. They rode upon camels, they 400 young men. But the creator said kill them all, but that wasn't in the time of David. That was in the time of Saul. So those 400 young men, you don't know if those young men was the ones in the time of Esther.
Hmm.
They might have been in the book of Esther because I think those were the same men that tried to kill off the Israelites in the book of Esther. Esther. So just hypothetically saying. But the 400 young men got away. They allowed them to get away, as far as I'm concerned. Then it goes to say, and David recovers all that the Amalekites had carried away, and David rescued his two wives, and there was nothing lacking to them, neither small nor great, neither sons nor daughters, neither spoil nor anything that they had taken to them. David recovered all. And that's when they said in verse 20, the end of 20, this is David's spoil. So this David became king. He was already king, but this
Right.
showed him as being king at this point in time. So that was David's spoil, because David was the one who inquired of the Creator to go. Everybody else was sad and mad and what, but David inquired of the Creator in verse 5 and 6, and then 7 and 8, the Creator gave him his answer. So, but all that, this is examples of how we're supposed to be living. These are the examples of how we're supposed to be living and things we're going to do. Now, baby, I know you just coming in. You can say a little something if you like, but I know you just getting in, and I don't know if you want to say anything according to anything or not, yay or nay. But we've just this is the end of First Samuel. Next week we'll be starting in Second Samuel, the second book of Samuel. Um, Second Samuel will be starting there next week, and it says here, and there it says the result of David at Hebron, um, chapter 1 through chapter 4 is going to be say the death of Saul's second account. That's the second account of his Saul. So they're going to be mostly going into the death of Saul again, I guess. But there was the death of Saul, which is today. We went through.
Okay.
The second account means David, look like I said, he learns of Saul's death. But we'll find that out next week, going through that. But other than that, I'm glad you did made that. I'm glad you made that point out, though. That was a law. See, this is the reason why when we all get a chance to sit down and talk and conversate and what's being read, we can go through stuff by questions. And I appreciate that, sis.
Yeah, no, that's I mean, you know what? this is not the first time I seen it, and I meant to ask you about that. So about these statutes and the ordinance, um, because I kind of seen them spread out. Certain laws that's being made, and I want to make
Uh-huh.
sure that it is what I'm thinking. It's a law.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's law because it's the kingdom of David. We that's why the creator said, and it might be a lot more we're gonna come through in this because the creator established this David's kingdom forever.
Okay.
So David was the king that the creator established, even though Saul was the first king. But Saul's king wasn't established to be his kingdom. That's the reason why David's kingdom was established under a man after the creator's own heart. So David set some rules as well as we can see. That's the first one that we can see.
Right.
You know. So, baby
Okay.
girl, you got anything you want to say, baby Joanne? You got anything you want to share? She ain't saying nothing.
No, I'm sitting here listening because I'm taking care of mom.
I understand. I understand, baby. All right. Well, we actually at the end of 30, 29 and 30.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else you want to share, Nicole?
Um. No, not right now.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we where we are. Hopefully you on with us tomorrow night. Tomorrow I'll be telling more of my story. I think I get a chance today to go into it because I didn't listen to it, and I think I redid 3 and 4 with 5 and 6, but I'm gonna find out because I've really been busy last week. I didn't get a chance to go in there to check out. But I'm gonna finish up more of my story that Brother G1 wanted me to go through for um, open conversation, which is fight fire with truth. But other than that, I guess we're gonna call it at the end of well, it ain't the end of the Sabbath, but this is the end of the first book of Samuel. And hopefully we got a lot out of it. Next week we're starting the second book of Samuel, and we'll go from there. Other than that, I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1 to 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwells, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, because the horn is blown without a doubt. This was prophesied for you to see that Mikael is really me. Other than that, if you'd like to get in contact with me, you always, let me end up first the benediction, then the Shema, then the information heading out. Yeah, buddy. Make sure I stay on point. The benediction right here. Numbers chapter 6, verse 22 to 37. The benediction. It says the priestly benediction, but this is the priest that's supposed to be speaking for the children of Israel. I'm just giving a benediction because of what I've come to know, and thankfully that is here for me to share, because this is what we need to be blessed by. Not what? Who? Excuse me. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, On this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yah bless thee and keep thee. Yah make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put Yah's name upon the children of Israel, which is his law, and I will bless them. You see that? And I'll put my name, which is his law, upon the children of Israel, and Yah will bless them. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shekebo, Vakuto Iolam, Vayed, Hallelujah. Hear, O Israel, Yah our Father is one Father. Blessed be thy glorious kingdom forever and ever. Hallelujah. Bless you, Yah, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We thank you for all you've done, and we bless you. We praise you, bless you, and thank you for another beautiful Sabbath day and in all your ways. In all these things we pray. Hallelujah. 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 Praise your Almighty. Now, if you'd like to get in contact with me, if you'd like to call or text, you can always call or text me at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. And also, you can email me at LKH, excuse me, LKHYYM. That's LKHYYM at gmail.com. And you can also connect with me on YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. That's YouTube and also X, formerly known as Twitter. And that channel is JUICEPRO33. That's Juice Pro 33, which is JUICEPRO33, all together, not separated, just all together. One word, Juice Pro 33. And my Instagram and my TikTok. Now you can like, subscribe, and share on those as well. YouTube and TikTok. My Instagram and my TikTok is L'chaim underscore the juice. That's L'chaim underscore the juice, which is LKHYYM underscore THEJUICE. That's LKHYYM underscore THE, excuse me, JUICE. That's L'chaim underscore the juice. My other TikTok is Michael the Juice Harris, which is MICHAELTHEJUICE That's all together, one word. That's from my last TikTok or other TikTok. MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS, all together. That's my other TikTok. Now, my Facebook is Mikael Harris, which is MI''CHAEL space HARRIS. That's MI''CHAEL space HARRIS, excuse me, Mikael Harris. Now, for the full version of the YouTube, which is from Zoom, that full version is on YouTube under video. The part 1 and part 2 is under live, but the video is the full version. And also, which is Juice Pro 33. And also on X, formerly known as Twitter, the full version is there. And also the full version is known on patreon.com/LKHYYM. That's patreon.com/LKHYYM and rumble.com/LKHYYM. Rumble.com/LKH, excuse me, YYM. All right, and if you'd like to catch on the platforms that we're on as of today, starting up with tomorrow's platform, which is beginning of the week, the night after Sunday, which people call Sunday nights, but it's just the night after Sunday at 9 p.m. We're on Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation, and that's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. 9 p.m. Eastern Time. On so-called what we call Mondays, which is the second day of the week, we're on Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. That's Mikael's Knowledge of Truth, spelled, no, Mikael's Knowledge of Truth, which is on at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern Time for Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. We have on Tuesdays, Introductory to Solving Class of Knowledge. Introductory to Solving Class of Knowledge. And that's on Tuesday, nights after Tuesday. Night after Tuesday, at 6, actually it's in the evening, at 6, excuse me, at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. 6 p.m. in the evening, Eastern Time. Introduction to Solving Class of Knowledge. We're going to have soon on what we call Wednesdays, the night of Wednesday, oh no, Wednesday evening, Freedom Solving Class of Knowledge. Freedom Solving Class of Knowledge. That will be on, but you have to get past the introductory first. Last but not least, on the Sabbath day, we're here with Sabbath. I don't know why it's not coming. Sabbath, Assembly of the Righteous. I don't know why they didn't come through. Assembly of the Righteous on the Sabbath day. And that is at 12 p.m. noon on the Sabbath day, which is today. Assembly of the Righteous. Other than that, I'd like to thank y'all for your time, your patience. See, I'm getting tired again, so I'm ready to go back and lay down. I thank y'all for your time, your patience, your listening ear, your seeing eye. Other than that, I love you. Appreciate love you. And hopefully everybody had a good day today with the book of Samuel. First book of Samuel. Next week we'll be in the second book of Samuel, which is part 2. I love you, appreciate you, and we're going to take you off first. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pause you. I'm gonna pause you, Zoom. Thank you. Appreciate love you, and always pause here. Peace.